friends. And I had an aunt who happened to live on the same street as the first center of Opus Dei for women, the first center for women in Lagos. That's on Amosu Street, Surulere. So we would go there every Saturday to spend time with them. And I remember one of the days they spoke to us about the club for children. There was a club for little girls. And that club, well, was just like 2 houses away from their house. So we decided, the 4 of us were going to the club, and we did all sorts of things. It was very interesting. We had cookery, we did lots of things the cookery I liked very much because we ate after cooking, and that was the most exciting part for us. But we also were divided into groups for Christian formation, so the non-Catholics were together and the Catholics had catechism. And, well, I learned a lot, but I wasn't really thinking about the faith as such. As children, we did the typical things children do. I was 10. I was 10 years old. The center had just come that day, right? And as children, we went up to the house just to try and explore and see what there was. And we discovered a little chapel there with an image of Our Lady. It's the image of Our Lady that is now in the chapel of Wavecrest, the oratory of Wavecrest at the back. Regina Afiche, which was a gift of Saint Josemaria to Nigeria. Well, we just went there, and from there, of course, it didn't stop at the oratory. We started peeping into the rooms, typical things that children do anyway. So that was like first contact, continued going for a while, and I remember we made some artifacts for Christmas, because it was very close to Christmas, and had fun doing all of that. Now, I can't remember exactly when I stopped going to the club, but it must have been when they moved, because they stayed in Amosu Street for like 8 months, and shortly afterwards moved to the parallel street, which is Animation Street. So they had the center there, while the Secretariat College remained in Amosu Street. Well, for some reason I'd stopped going. And just one day, I remember seeing somebody from the center very close to our house, because there was a big supermarket near the house in Surulere on James Robertson Road, where I lived. So right there was this lady from the club. And I thought, wow, she's going to tell me to go back to the club, so I'm going to avoid her, which is what I did. I tried to avoid her, but I thought, well, I've grown. By then I was 12. She won't recognize me. So I decided to do what I wanted to do. I was going to buy something where she was, close to where she was. And I went there. And sure enough, she recognized me. So I shook in my shoes when she said, I know you. Anyway. So yes, why haven't you come to the club? I didn't want to tell her. I thought it was too childish, because now I was in secondary school. But she just remarked that there was now a club for older girls, and it was a study club. So I got interested. And I spoke to a friend of mine at school about that. It would be interesting to go to this club. And she told me that her older sisters actually, had been to that club. Her name was Mary. She's now Mrs. Abu, Mrs. Mary Abu. And, well, we discussed that, and we hadn't quite made up our minds to go until somebody came visiting. That was Chantal, came visiting to the school. That was some years later, and spoke about this club, and we decided to go. So we went to Animation Street, saw the place, were quite impressed. And I remember something struck me there. When I got in there, I saw a picture on the piano, which was a picture of Montserrat Grasses, And I thought, oh, what's this young girl doing here? Well, her smile attracted me. The center was really very welcoming. Everybody was so ready to help. It was only later on that I learned that Chantal has been one of the teachers for the study club, was going through our subjects before we arrived. I mean, before we'd go the following day for classes. Anyway, little by little, I started attending meditations, circles, different classes of formation, frequenting the sacraments, and I realized that somehow there was something for me there.